So we're out and about here at the Monday Night Community Show. We're at the Sheppey Little Theatre and we're joined with Dan Cruickshank. Welcome along to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I've been lucky enough to sit through the talk you've just done, and one of the things you covered was your recent television programme looking at country houses. It must have been really sort of fascinating and interesting discovering some of those houses that people aren't able to see or don't always get to see.
Absolutely right. I mean, it was a fantastic subject, the British country house, rich, evocative architectural stories, social stories, economic stories, and so the wonderful buildings. It took me all over the country, but one of the things was these houses were not to be, they would be secret, hidden houses, not generally open to the public. So I got into places which many people, would die to see, and I negotiated in and saw, wonderful worlds, wonderful collections. I met very interesting people because often the families that built the houses remain in a way associated. Some still live there. Others, the family lives nearby, and I was able to meet them and get family stories about these great monuments to British culture.
Now, one of the things I'm glad you went on to talk about, of course, is Shurland Hall in Eastchurch. It must have been great to see that being restored.
Well, fantastically interesting. It was one of the points I make in the book of the series and in the series was the nature of the British country houses when they appeared on the scene. And of course, in a way, it's about 500 years ago that the country house, a place of comfort, fashion, show, convenience and taste, emerges from the traditions of fortifications and so on, castles. And Shurland's exactly on that moment. The bit that survives, the gatehouse, dates from about 1510 to 1530. And though a gatehouse actually is a show gate, not really a fortified gate, it's the moment when the country house in this country emerges from the castle. It's a wonderful demonstration of how the country house changes in its nature, becomes, I say, something of comfort and a demonstration of taste and power and so on and so forth. It really is a truly wonderful building, Shurland, now often forgotten, almost destroyed, of course. Large elements of it, of course, have been destroyed, but key bits survive. It was, in its heyday in the early 16th century, one of the most important of the new country houses built in England, reflecting the new-made men of the Tudor court, created by a man, Sir Thomas Cheney, who was part of Henry VIII's world. Henry VIII, of course, stayed there in the 1530s. Really, really important building.
Now, I went along there when I was a lot younger with the Cubs, and I see it pretty much as the photo you showed of us. I think you said it was about 20 years ago or so. I hadn't realised then just how big a hall it was and how quite small the gatehouse was within that building. What
survives, of course, is only a fragment of what had been there in the 16th century. It's a front range, basically there were two courts. The gate marks the entry to the front court, which was the court of lodgings and kitchens. That was separated from the inner court, the more private part of the place, the families' quarters, by a great hall. Elements of the great hall survive. That dates from the late 15th century. It's stone built, not brick. But enough there to tell you about the ambitions, the scale, and the nature of the building.
So then, what's going to happen to Shurland Hall?
Well, I hope nothing but good things now. It was ruinous, abandoned for years. Spitalfields Trust, a building charity, has bought it and repaired it over the last 4 or 5 years. It's now on the market. The house and 8 acres of land and a wonderful, huge lake-like fish pond is being offered a region of 1.8 million, I think. Let's see what people offer. But the great thing is, it's wonderful to have saved the building, wonderful to have given it a new life. I just hope that it goes on to the next few generations to play a key role on the island.
Dan, I'd like to thank you very much for speaking to us here at BRFM.
Delighted. Thank you very much.